Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to give you a little bit of a PSA in case you were excited for the Gamecube controller from the Nintendo Switch 2. There is a fundamental flaw with this thing that I was not expecting, and I just wanted to let everybody else know about it. So here's the big kicker, is the R trigger here is the same as the R button on the Pro Controller. And that sounds like that would make a lot of sense, except for the fact that the R button on the Pro Controller is actually the bumper button and not the trigger button. So what ends up happening is the bumper buttons and the trigger buttons on the GameCube controller end up getting flipped. And as you all know, for whatever reason, Nintendo does not allow you to do control changing in most of their first-party games. It's a huge, huge problem. But you would think that, okay, look, I can just change it in the main menu. You know, there's a accessibility function for controllers, but sadly, Nintendo blocked you out of this. And this is typical for all the backwards controllers. I get that. But you would think that if you were going to make this design flaw, that you would at least allow people to, you know, remap the controls. But you can't here. And so what you're left with is if you go to something like, for example, Luigi's Mansion 3, where core gameplay is tied to the trigger buttons, the developers knew that the comfort factor of having the suck and the blow mapped to the trigger buttons was going to be the thing that was the most comfortable. Also, it just reminds you of the GameCube. Well, sadly, with your GameCube controller, you would suck with the Z button, and to blow, you would use this tiny button here. And less important functions like the flashlight is tied to those juicy, juicy trigger buttons. So just buyer beware. If you were interested in using this for a whole bunch of Switch games, you're probably going to come into this problem very frequently. Just be aware that third-party games probably are more likely to be a more comfortable experience. But of course, it's the GameCube controller. You wanted to work with Nintendo games.